Astro Bot came out in 2024 and was made by Team Asobi. And when this got announced, I was just surprised that it was made by PlayStation of all people. And I know they had like the Astro Bot Rescue Mission on PS4 VR and the Astro's Playroom as built into the PS5, which is one of those things that they expect to really go further into when their focus is like bigger, grander scale games or live service. So seeing this get announced was the epitome of a massive surprise in a very good way. Good kind of surprise. Our main premise is that Astro Bot and the other bots flying through space end up getting attacked by a massive space bully who rips apart a piece of their ship and forces the entire ship to crash land. So now it's up to Astro to not only find all the bots that have been scattered through space, but also regain all the parts to the ship. And yes, all the ship and everything is clearly based off of PlayStation merchandise, whether it be the PS5, the DualSense, even the PS3, memory cards, other consoles, whole bunch of stuff. That's pretty much it to the premise. Very simple premise, recruit everybody, and take down the space bully when they get back these stolen parts. And that's pretty much all you really need in this kind of game. Just a simple setup and everything, and then onward to the adventure. Now for the gameplay, with Astro Bot being an action platformer, where there will be a lot of points we'll be doing combat, but it's generally fairly simple, either being Astro's basic punches, or the fact that Astro's ability to hover is also shooting lasers, so you can use that as an attack, and won't have to because there are some enemies you can't just smack. And there's also a spin attack you can do, also for puzzle solutions, but also for attacking with I'm going to use it for attacking aside from this one little enemy that grabs onto Astro that you have to use to spin or to get them off. Otherwise, I find the spin that useful. There are also several different things that add to those levels and try to make their own spin, whether it be, hey, here are some items that Astro can pull on the ground in order to use to navigate. Like one thing where it's like, oh, level super dark, so Astro gets a little light in order to reveal hidden platforms, stuff like that. Or levels where Astro gets a little robot companion that are based off of animals, each have their own trait, and while some of them are cool, like the dog also just fly forward like a rocket, the monkey arm one, I hate with a burning passion. I don't like it just for the fact that in order to use it, you have to very much use the motion control in the DualSense. So in order to use the arms, you have to then shift that side of the controller up. So you're trying to use the right arm, you don't have to use the R2 button, but you have to move to the right side of the controller upward in order for the arm to reach up. Now, when using this in the main levels, it's fine to be able to go at your pace, but when the game wants you to do this quickly, that's when it becomes an issue, because that's way too much precision being left to the control of this kind of motion control. For the most part, it works, but just the fact of don't ask the player to do this kind of thing silly. Also, you will look very goofy having to shift back and forth the controller in order to do that. But there are also other styles to use the controller's features, whether it be blowing into the microphone sometimes, or this one thing where, okay, what you're supposed to do is use the haptic feedback in order to pretty much tell which one of these little green panels is the one for Astro to press on. At least I assume so, because my haptic's not on in the slightest. So you can just brute force it and just have Astro touch all of them until eventually one of them slides in, so you know which one to actually use. You also have another fun bit where it's going to go into a level. You have brief control of Astro's little DualSense ship, and there are some levels where they do plan around that, whether it be there are extra little coins you can get by controlling the ship, or the fact that sometimes little puzzle pieces that you need for extra goodies to unlock also requires you to use the ship, or the fact that you can use the L2 and R2 buttons to make it go faster. So even just loading into the level, going inside, also still gives you some control, and some levels are like, hey, pay attention, there's some goodie here to get. And one cool thing I do like is the fact that after you beat a level, you can spend 200 coins in order to get the little bird, and the bird will just generally point you a direction or alert you to the stuff you didn't get. So if there are bots that you missed, or a puzzle piece that you missed, it'll generally tell you. But one thing I do wish is the idea that you could just use the checkpoints to go back between and go backwards towards a level, because once you progress forward past the point where you can go backwards, you have to redo the entire level. Granted, the levels are long. This is one of those things where it's like, there are so many checkpoints because normally Astro goes down in one hit. So I want those checkpoints to be like, why can't I just fast travel between the checkpoints in order to go backwards to the level? Kind of thing. That's the kind of thing I wish, but and they're not too long in a little bird, but sometimes I just forget the little bird's there and I screwing up anyway. So just wish I could go backtrack in the level. Some levels let you to backtrack super far, other ones don't. And where they place these bots, little puzzle pieces, are really cool places. Sometimes they're right at the beginning of the level, you may not even notice it. So I do like the placement of the bots and stuff themselves. Now, aside from the main premise being to collect the bots, you also have the crash line area where there are several locales that require the bots' assistance. So you need a certain amount of bots in order to progress those areas, and it is fun seeing the bots all gather around. Oh, they do get around in real time, so they take a good second in order to show up to do the thing, especially if you need a lot of bots for the task that you're doing. So you do want to click the bots for that reason, if not just for the fact that a lot of the bots are based off of IPs, whether it be first-party PlayStation IPs or third-party IPs. Now, what's good is a novelty? It's a fun novelty, so why not? There's also the fact that you also have the little gachapon machine that you can get little stuff for the bots that allows you to have a bit more interaction without having a little cute little gimmick they can do. That's just a basic thing. There's a little basic thing that they do. The fact that they made one for all the bots is just having fun with it. Granted, some bots have cooler interactional abilities than other ones, so there is that aspect, but it does lead to the joy of, hey, be a level, and get the joy of seeing what kind of bots are in the level you're able to get. Or there are some levels that are specifically just challenges, and the challenges just get to the end to go rescue the bot. It's one of those things where you can see the bot being taken and be like, you know that character, I want that character, bring them back here, kind of thing. So, do they, because that's the thing, one of those things, this game does not live or die because of the bots being characters from established IPs, because it's not also regular bots that are just blank slates everything. So it's not as if it's like this game needs the third party, the first party side, it needs the pandering. It doesn't, because even without that, it is a super fun game when it comes to how the levels are designed and everything, and just fighting the bots and the boss battles within the game. Although one thing that does require the IPs themselves is the fact that there are certain levels in the game that are fully themed around a certain PlayStation IP. There's about, I think, like 5 of them in total, and one thing I wish is the fact that, okay, none of these levels are bad at all. They're all very good. It's just the fact that the IPs chosen are like, okay, I see where you're going with here, but I just wish that one of these IPs picked was instead something else. Mostly because it feels too similar to a different IP you picked when it comes to these levels. The levels are great. None of them are bad when it comes to these special levels. I just wish, okay, you need to keep this one or this one, but having both makes them kind of redundant since their gameplay feature are basically very similar. There's also the weird aspect of the special levels, or dubbed hero levels, being the fact that none of them are based off a character who was from the PlayStation 2. And I know someone will cheap out and be like, but one of the hero levels is a God of War. Yeah, but it's based off the PS4 God of War, not the PS2 iteration. So there's no PS2 IP being used for these levels, either from the PS1 or the PS3 onward. And it's like, why did the PS2 get neglected with these levels? That's a common complaint. It's just one of those weird things where it's like, you're gonna go further to these levels to be part of PlayStation history. Why not just have at least one from each of the main console, especially since there's 5 levels, 5 main consoles. Preferably you could do like 7, include the PSP and PS Vita, if you're not a coward. But it's one of those things where, you know, just have one for each for the main platforms that Sony has had, you know? Another thing that irks me is the fact that I mentioned there are some levels that are off to the side, but how you get them is basically, for the most part, the same, where there'll be this shooting asteroid or something in the galaxy overworld map, and you have to interact with it, but it's just one of those things where you have to keep waiting for it to show up in order to get them for each of the galaxies you go to. I just wish that wasn't the case. You know, it's like more fun thing of waiting for the meteorite to show up, but it's like, I'm waiting for it to show up, it's taking a minute, where is it, where the hell is it, where is it, where is it, where is it, kind of thing, you know? You don't want to get extra levels, is the Lost Galaxy levels that require you to find the special pathway in the other levels. One thing that irks me is that once you find the pathway, it immediately has you not only leave the level you're in, but also sends you straight into Lost Galaxy as well. Which, one of those things where on the plus side, you're going to activate the bird immediately to go back. It's one of those things where you're making good progress, find the thing, and then, oh, now you're out of the level, you gotta go back to it later, and we start from the beginning. But the extra levels you get from Lost Galaxy are fun and enjoyable and have many more bots and puzzle pieces to get as well. Just one of those things where I wish you weren't immediately pulled into it kind of thing, you know? Also hilarious how this game keep using the colors for the face buttons that PlayStation removed with the DualSense, so seeing all these colorful explosions with the face buttons, all the shapes and colors, and we don't have that anymore. Just the same black and white coloring for every single face button. Anywho, me being upset with the DualSense aside, some of the cool stuff in the game is the fact they can get outfits for Astro, so you can change what kind of outfit Astro is wearing, or you can get different color schemes for the DualSense controller that he does ride into the levels as well, so you get a bit of customization into that, although then you'll be questioning what IPs are being used to represent the outfits and everything, and then like a certain IPs not being used, and I can see it turn into a giant complaint, but honestly, it's just a cool addition to the other outfits in the game, and the DualSense colors, although they really put every miscellaneous DualSense color, like, oh my god, I get unlocks and I'm like, oh great, here's a pink controller, oh great, here's a blue, oh great, oh my god, I guess something more interesting here. Especially since the Gachapon machine also has like the soda cans that'll pop out that give you nothing, but hey, you gotta spend 100 coins in order to get it. So it's another thing where some of the things in the machine can feel like it's being padded out when you just want the little trinkets for the bots themselves and everything, and not just the controller color, and another one, and another one, and a soda can, and another one. Now, I imagine that Astro only takes one hit for it into a checkpoint, so they're very generous, and a lot of them are placed throughout the levels. One thing that is cool is the fact that when you're in a boss fight, they actually give you 2 extra hits, so now you have 3 hits in order to defeat the boss. So they don't expect you to beat the bosses themselves in 1 hit, unless it's a mini boss. But the big main bosses that have more things going on, multiple phases, they do give you 2 extra hits as well in order to go through it. Granted, in Racer that up front, just notice little things near Astro that represent the extra hits that he will be able to take. There's a cool thing they thought about the fact of, okay, for boss fights, you can take more damage or to compensate how long the fight will actually be. Or when it comes to the game of Astro Bot, it's just super fun. It's not going to be the most complicated platformer out there, but what they do with Astro's control scheme, especially with the glide, it's just super cool what they do, whether it be like, oh, here's just a glide that also attacks people. Oh, here's a fact you're able to use that to your advantage. Hey, maybe it's also the fact that there's ice levels you gotta skate around. Or maybe the floor is glass, so now trying to use your hover ability will make the glass break. Or sometimes the glass is so sensitive that you just can't even stand on it for too long or it'll break anyway, kind of thing. That's what they might do with the levels themselves. Makes it fun on top of the fact that the main thing you're going for is looking for the bots and seeing a place you to put the bots where they're at. Like, if you just don't care for the IP being represented with the bots, you also have the fact that just finding the bots is just a good appeal because they use every nook and cranny of a level in order to hide the bots and the puzzle pieces. So you really have fun and go, we got a level like this, you gotta look all around the place, even just turn the camera all over. These are 3D objects, 3D levels, look over every little nook and cranny on the level just to find where a bot may be hiding and everything. Sometimes obvious, sometimes it's not. It's one entire aspect, and that's what makes it super enjoyable. Like I said, if you have trouble finding them, you can just pay the little bird robot in order to help you find them when we go to the level again. And it will want to, since you want the coins in order to use them to get the little Gachapon machine to see what the little stuff what the little bots do. Unless you don't care for what they do, in which case, just leave them there, standing, miserable, able to interact, everything. But just see what they can do as a fun little reference to their game in question. It's just super cool to see. Granted, you will be left scratching your head at times with, like I said, some of the bots get way more elaborate animations what they do, others don't. And it's also the aspect where some IPs represented are like, okay, you used the most recent version of this, but in an earlier version of this, and you just had confusion stuff, the fact that episode 3, 4, and 5 bots but no 1 and 2 bots. What gives? Kind of thing. Where some decisions you can tell it's because the IP holders like you gotta use this, this, and this. But at times like, okay, but like all the God of War bots being from like the PS4 era titles. That's like, man, you got like 4 to 5 other games you gotta at least give them a bot to. Like Infamous, for example, uses characters from all over, so it's like, okay, it feels nice and good. And you got freaking Infamous 1, well, I guess technically not 2 represented, but if it want one second Son represented kind of thing, you know? But other things are like, where's this character and this character? But you do get points for the fact that you actually use Symphony of the Night Richter. People just use Symphony of the Night for Alucard, but here you also got Richter, and I love the little interaction he has. That is great. Now this game did get free DLC, with it being 2 extra galaxies. One that's based around speedrunning levels, which are very enjoyable. You're trying to outrace these little birds in order to rescue the 2 bots. So you're just trying to get to the level, and on the level as fast as possible in order to rescue them, and they are enjoyable, except for the speedrunning level that involves using the monkey hands and you had to climb. God, this is the only bad level in the entire game, because they want you to use the grab hands motion controls very fast, and that is just not only painful to do physically, it's also a case of, oh, why? Because they're finicky, they don't work well, sometimes they bug out, and the fact that you have this little thing that you can be able to launch yourself, but when you do, Astro has no control over themselves for some reason, so you have to rely on the grabby hands in order to do something. It looks like the hover should be able to animation cancel, but it doesn't. That's the only bad level in the entire game. The other one is based more around just pretty much platforming challenges, so that one's also super fun. There are also these 2 special Ultimate Challenge levels, one for the base game for trying to get all the bots, and then one for the DLC as well. They're also enjoyable, but also took me a long while to get them. And while they are enjoyable, the rewards at the end of them are a case of like, man, I'm sure someone else would be happy that these bots were here for this challenge. I'm not one of those people. I'm more upset. But they were good levels. It just took me a long while because they are appropriately difficult. But the DLC levels are very enjoyable and don't take a long time to complete. Overall, Astro Bot is just a great game. It was one of the things where I saw it, I'd be like, it's coming from PlayStation nowadays? Huh. And then playing it now is like, oh, this game is great. Like I said, aside from the hero levels that require the PlayStation nostalgia and everything, if you just took out all the IPs, this would still be a great 3D platformer regardless. Even if it didn't have all the IPs, everything representing it, it's still a great game because everything else about the game is fully original. The boss fights, the levels, everything themselves. The levels may have homogeneous aspects, which is why certain bots are in those levels, but everything else is super grand, and everything else, like I said, doesn't rely on the IPs. It is fully original and has fun with what it is. It tries to use a DualSense controller to its maximum capacity, so maybe you want one of those features. I still won't, you can't make me. But what they managed to do with Astro's simple moveset is just super fun. What they can't do, they give Astro an animal companion for the level in order to pretty much spice things up, or it's one of the hero levels that shows the gameplay with Astro taking on the elements of one of the PlayStation heroes. Like I said, it should have had a PS2 era based hero level, but they didn't. Should have PSP or Vita one as well, but they didn't. Missed opportunity. Oh well, that's a whole entire pass. Seeing what the little boss can do is enjoyable, but the main fun is fighting them and having fun with the fact of what kind of levels that they are in and everything. You want to be a stickler, you also be questioning some of the bot choices, but that's depending on the person and everything, and that's just nitpicking at that point. So let's talk about Astro Bot. It's just a damn great game and everything. Alrighty then, good day.